Look out there. Just water and wind. Most people look at the open ocean and see an impassable barrier. We see a foundation. Building a mountain of earth from the sea floor up is an all-out war against raw maritime physics. We must map the battlefield. Our survey vessel cuts the initial lines, dropping buoys to cage the beast. We drag multi-ton concrete anchor blocks into the abyss to hold our geometric grid against massive shear forces. Then, we bring in the heavy armor. The jack-up barge plunges its colossal steel lattice legs directly into the invisible bedrock below. By jacking millions of pounds of steel above the churning waves, we establish our beachhead. We've conquered the water. Now, we raise the earth. You can't just dump dirt in the ocean. You need overwhelming volume. Enter the trailing suction hopper dredgers. These colossal maritime beasts weaponize the earth. We are rainbowing, blasting massive, highly pressurized arcs of wet slurry and dense sand straight into the drop zone. We displace the deep blue water with heavy particulate matter until the critical engineering milestone occurs: the artificial seabed violently breaches the surface. We've birthed a landmass. The dredgers switch tactics, locking thick sinker pipelines directly to the raw shoreline to pump heavy, viscous slurry onto the expanding mudflats. Our massive yellow bulldozers roll out, their steel tracks biting into the saturated muck, forcibly carving organic chaos into a strictly calculated geometric plateau against the resistance of the sea. But raw, wet dredge is structurally useless. If an earthquake hits, that saturated sand will undergo liquefaction and swallow a runway whole. We have to beat the weakness out of it. We roll out heavy crawler cranes for deep vibrocompaction. We plunge steel vibrating probes deep into the earth, using extreme high-pressure water jets to liquefy the matrix while brutal mechanical vibrations force the sand particles to collapse into an ultra-dense state. For the upper strata, we bring in the dragline cranes. We hoist solid steel weights, dozens of tons each, and cut the brakes. The freefall generates earth-shattering kinetic energy. When that steel slams into the uncompacted sand, it physically pulverizes the earth into a rigid, rock-hard foundation. The ocean slurry is now a meticulous structural plateau. We have a sprawling island, but the sea's kinetic energy is relentless. We must build an impenetrable fortress to defend our creation. We deploy colossal crane barges, dropping intricately designed, 50-ton concrete acropode blocks straight into the splashing surf. These mathematical shapes are engineered to fracture and instantly dissipate the massive hydrostatic pressure of crashing waves. Behind this heavy armor, massive vibratory hammers aggressively drive deeply corrugated steel sheet piles straight into the bedrock, creating an unyielding subterranean retaining wall. We pump dense, marine-grade concrete into heavy steel rebar matrices to cast the towering crown wall in place. Finally, we seal the perimeter with an impermeable geotextile membrane, burying it under mountains of crushed aggregate stone. Our island is bone dry, locked down, and heavily armored. With the fortress secured, we pivot to horizontal aviation paving. Dropping hundreds of thousands of pounds of aircraft out of the sky requires absolute structural perfection. A synchronized fleet of heavy motorized graders aggressively carves a massive sub-base of crushed white limestone. Trailing vibratory compactors physically crush this aggregate flat to the millimeter. Then comes the heat. Massive pavers extrude thick, steaming ribbons of pitch-black asphalt base course. Heavy steel drum tandem rollers violently compress the viscous material into strict structural submission. For the aircraft aprons, automated slip-form pavers extrude thick slabs of bright white, high-friction concrete, heavily bound together by massive steel dowel bars to resist extreme kinetic shear loads. We diamond core the edges for inset lighting and paint high-visibility threshold lines. The raw earth is utterly conquered by heavy civil paving. Now we build to the sky. The flat concrete expanse explodes into vertical heavy architecture. A dense forest of red crawler cranes synchronizes to lift colossal, sweeping steel roof trusses into the mid-morning air. Ironworkers strike brilliant arcs, welding the massive skeletal framework of the futuristic terminal while mobile cranes equipped with heavy vacuum suction rigs seamlessly hoist towering panels of architectural glass into the sweeping facade. Simultaneously, heavy rough terrain cranes and specialized welding crews construct the massive aviation fuel farm, fusing curved steel plates into high-pressure cylindrical tanks connected by a labyrinth of flanged silver pipelines. To cap the vertical ascent, a heavy-lift helicopter violently cuts through the air, lowering the entirely prefabricated glass and steel control cab with total precision onto the towering, slip-formed concrete shaft of the air traffic control tower. And here we are. The culmination of millions of man-hours and thousands of tons of materials. As the sun sets, tens of thousands of complex lead fixtures ignite, transforming our massive engineering project into a glowing, heavily engineered motherboard floating defiantly in the pitch-black void of the ocean. The raw power of heavy aviation violently meets our civil engineering as a colossal A380 drops from the sky, its massive tires smoking against our high-friction asphalt as reverse thrust tears through the air. Over at the sweeping Manta Ray terminal, articulated steel jetways lock onto fuselages while heavy ground support equipment flawlessly services the aircraft. Look at what we pulled from the sea. We engineered a chaotic expanse of water into a total, awe-inspiring mechanical triumph. The artificial archipelago airport is alive.